Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Knack and thanks for checking out this video. I want to spend a bit of time chatting about our operating budget and going through how that will work, and also spending some time answering one of the most common questions I get, which is that how does the city look for savings, or do we even look for savings? Thankfully the short answer is yes, but we should actually go into that in a bit of detail so you can learn for yourself how the city works to find value for your money each and every day. So we'll start by talking a little bit about our operating budget. We're going to be moving into a 4-year operating budget. You see the wonderful binders behind me, the 2019 through 2022 operating budget. This is actually the second time we're doing a multi-year operating budget. You see the other binder just above that we went from 2016 to 2018. And so with our operating budgets, the operating budget is made up of everything that we are doing to help provide the daily services that you experience. So when you're going into a rec center, the staff who are working in that building, they would be falling under the operating budget. That would apply to things like our libraries, our police stations, our fire halls, all of those things that we deal with each and every day. They also are going to experience what you experience through our roadways. So when we have people clearing our streets or maintaining our parks, in fact, one of the biggest costs of our operating budget would actually be our staffing. So that's what makes up a lot of what we spend your money on each and every year. So what you've seen so far is a proposal from our administration as to what the budget will be over the next 4 years. So in 2019, what's being proposed is a 3.3% increase, 2020 is a 2.7% increase, and then the final 2 years is a 2% increase. We'll spend most of our time focused just on 19, since that's the one we're going to be dealing with right away, even though we will approve the whole budget at once. And that 3.3% increase is made up of a few things. So if we actually break that down, 1.7% of that increase actually would go to Edmonton Police Service to deal with their growth pressures that they're experiencing. We have 0.6% which will go to our Valley Line LRT. We have 0.3% which is going to our back alley renewal program, which I've previously written about. And then finally, we have a 0.7% increase that is really meant to cover just our general inflationary pressures. Now again, the important thing to note is that is just a proposal. That's what our administration has proposed based off the best information at the moment. But council actually has an opportunity to really dig into that over the next few weeks here. And what I hope we'll see is that we'll see that number continue to go down further from what it is being proposed. When I campaigned last year, you would have seen that I campaigned on the idea of striving to keep our increase for 2019 to at or below inflation. Being that our inflation rate in Edmonton is currently sitting at around 3.3%, while technically this would actually accomplish that campaign commitment, I think because it's as high as it is, we actually need to strive for lower than that 3.3%. And so that's what I'm going to be working on over the coming weeks during our budget deliberations. And this really leads into the next part of this, which is how does the city look for savings? And what does that process entail? And how are people involved in it? So leading into this budget, we've been finding efficiencies in what we do each and every year. In fact, from 2013 to 2017, the city found about $68 million in savings that were able to be used to help offset possible increases or reallocated to other priorities that we felt needed that attention. And if you actually go through that budget binder above me there are a number of pages that are dedicated to explaining the examples and showcasing how we found those savings. And I'll have a blog post that will actually detail some of those examples of where we found savings over the years. But one of the big things that we've done differently and has really taken effect this year, although it started a little bit earlier, is what's called our Program and Service Review. So our Program and Service Review is designed as a way to really do a deep dive into each business area within the city. And the approach is really going into these areas and asking the question, is this a service we should still be providing? If so, to what level? And even if we should be providing that service and we should be providing it at the same level, are there different ways we can be providing that service that produce greater value for the money that we're putting into it? And what's great about this program and service review is it's not just being done internally. It's actually using external support. So we have representatives from groups like the Chamber of Commerce who are involved. We have representation from a number of our academic institutes who are there to provide their expertise and advice. We have community representation from across the city, people who are able to go and say, these are the areas where I see value, these are the areas where I don't see value. And they get to provide that critical lens and really dig into each of those business areas. So this work started prior to 2018, but it really moved into a major program this year. And this year alone, that program produced $25 million in savings. Now, some of that was one-time savings that we can use towards other one-time projects that might come up. A lot of it, though, was actually ongoing savings that we can use to help reduce any possible increase, or if council felt it was necessary, we could reallocate that to other ongoing projects. So this work actually is just getting started. This was the first big year where a lot of that work was done, but we've got 2 more years of this program and service review with that external support that will be happening. And so I expect that you'll see even more savings as the time goes on. And that's why I felt that was important, is that, again, for any number of reasons, it feels like we don't often talk about that as a city, and we don't often get that message out to people, that we are regularly looking for ways to keep costs down. Even though we've been growing substantially as a city, as you all know, we have grown out very, very far. Ward 1 goes all the way out to 231st Street. We need to constantly review what we're doing, finding those ways to help keep costs down, to get better value for our tax dollars that we spend each and every year. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. The operating budget is one of the most important things that the city does each and every year. This really sets the priorities for the city and shows what we value. And so what I've been hearing from people is that, we need to keep up with maintenance of our core infrastructure. We need to continue to address the growth pressures that we're experiencing further outside the Anthony Henday primarily, but really throughout the city. And at the same time, we want to try and keep costs down to a minimum because people are feeling that pressure. And so that's a challenge, of course, when you've got these growth pressures and you've got those maintenance needs and you have that desire to keep increases to a minimum. But I think we can do that, and a lot of the work that's already been happening is helping us accomplish this. So thank you so much for watching this. Please take an opportunity to subscribe to my newsletter through my website. It's one of the best ways to stay up to date on what's going on at City Hall, some of the things that I've been working on, and just keeping you up to date with the latest information and news. So thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day.